I don't know if you'll be able to hear me. It's hard to see. But the volume of those generators over there, or whatever, air conditioners. Thought I'd take a little time out on this Sunday. It's like 90 degrees and say hello. It is one of the those stupid holidays that they can sell cards at your local pharmacies. What an insane industry. What an absolutely bizarre, bonkers, goofy. The fact that you can go into a grocery store or a pharmacy and there's like a whole section devoted to cards. Greeting cards companies. How insane. They just make up holidays. Yeah. It's so ridiculous. So today you should be respectful of. You should be very thankful. Go get some flowers and go do some of that corny goofy shit. You know, I never got the giving people flowers things. Cause you know, I think it was your boy Osho who said if you love a flower, you don't pick it. Because if you do, you'll kill it. So wouldn't you want the thing that you love to live? So you would leave the flower be. Why would you pick it? Why would you pick it and give it to somebody? It's bizarre. Love that, right? Love the trees, but cut them down to write a note on it. It's the insanity. So I'm here and I'm gonna joke off on your ma. Speaking of Mother Earth, I'm sitting here in the shade for a little bit because it's so hot out. Apparently summer is here. Once it gets above 90, you're officially in the summer. So, welcome. Welcome to the heat. How's everybody doing? I don't really have anything to talk about. I had a couple things I want to talk about, but I don't think I want to get into them today because I don't want to be in that mind space or mindset of the things that I want to talk about. I'll save it for perhaps Monday or Tuesday. But it's about fecal matter transplants. Well, I guess we could, it's kind of a mom thing to do, huh? Take someone's shit and shove it up your own, somebody else's shit, and then put it up your asshole. What a weird thing to do. But if a doctor does it, then we're in good condition there. What's up, Super Champ? What's up, Carson? What's up, Fire Drake? She did not answer. Yeah, I've done a couple of videos on it. I didn't feel like I had to do it again. But now there's somebody in the community of truthers and mud flooders and whatever that came out like repping it, and I'm just like, oh no, you can't do that. I was like, I'm gonna have to go and actually get on the person's page, like, you need to redact your stupid statements. I was like, you're not being helpful here. You don't know the first thing about health, well-being, and you're using really bad, like, faulty logic to come to some ridiculous conclusion. So I'm gonna have to address that fully. Oh yeah, isn't that cool? I don't. I love how people's wild fantasies of connecting one thing to the other, even though one is clearly waste product and the other is clearly not. But they like to put it in the same category, and use some sort of I don't even know how they come to these. It's like shaky logic because they're starting with the foundation that is wrong. They're starting with the wrong premise. The premise would be that. So in their mind, the premise is piss is dirty, but somehow shit is clean. Huh? Fire Drake. Yes, yeah, we were talking about it the other day, huh? The gay creamers. Uh-huh. Can you guys hear all the hoopla in the background? There's this boat over here, and it's a big tanker. It does appear that they're getting pulled over by who's the water police, or are those people? Unless he's just checking on them, I don't know. What's up, Jimin? Yeah, yeah. Jimin, what are you doing? You're trying to get up to 280? Is that what you said? You're trying to get like 280 a muscle, or you're just trying to be a fat pig? You're just trying to be a huge being, a monstrosity of a human? Not that you already aren't. Yeah, a little piss here and there. Thinking it's good for you. Shit. Hey, certainly there's stuff that you can use shit for. In Ayurveda, there's things that you can put in it because it goes on the ground, and you can grow things out of it because of the bacteria. But yeah. We'll do that whole talk tomorrow. Damn. 265 pounds of fucking a hunk of burning love, huh? Well, I just get to 300 just to do it. Just to say you were 300 pounds is a lot of fucking weight. If you had to, you would be twice my weight right now, I think. I think I'm probably 150. Fucking two of me's. That's crazy. Man, it's so nice. Yeah, because if you're gonna get up there, you might as well just pack on a few more. Hey, while you're at it, just get to 400. Just be a 400-pound Morpheus blob of human. I wonder what that would look like on you. An extra 100, like if you were still, you'd still maintain muscle mass, right? And then you put 100 pounds of fat all over your body. Wonder what that would look like. So yeah. Hello. Yeah. It's so much. So anyways, I was saying it's like 90 degrees in the sun, but in the shade next to the water. Oh, it's a refreshing 75. Jimin is a tank. Yeah, he's a pretty hefty human being. I've never I don't know if I've seen someone that large. Well, I mean I guess I've seen a couple pretty big fucking people, but. Musculature wise, I mean, I've seen people that are obviously fat pigs, 450 pounds, but yeah, be right back. I'm just gonna go. Yeah, just go stuff yourself. I mean, what? Hey, Jimin, do you think there's a limit to how much weight someone could put on? You know, in a day. I mean, there's a limit, of course. Maybe not a limit, but like, could you put a pound a day of weight on and continue that? And I'm not talking about put a pound of shit in your gut, because that, you could just back yourself up and get a bloated out tummy, right? But I'm saying, like, put it on your body as stored fat or muscle. You know what I'm saying? Not just water weight, I'm saying, like, how much weight could somebody reasonably, like, if you just really went at it, how much do you think you could put on a day of fat or muscle? I mean, just because, yeah, I mean, the caloric thing, yeah, man, we've gone over that a few times. The calorie to fat isn't a good unit of measurement, really. It's not the best. It'll do the job, I guess, but because calories, a piece of charcoal is caloric, but it wouldn't do anything to add or detract from the body, other than maybe some poison. But that being said, so if the body takes in all of these fats, these enzymes, these proteins, all these different kinds of molecules, right? And make it 10,000. Who cares? Whatever caloric intake it is. How much could the body turn into fats and muscle? I wonder. I mean, a pound a day could seem reasonable. I mean, because, when I fasted, right? When anybody here that's fasted, you could consider a pound a day loss to be a reasonable expectation. So, I mean, maybe if you really went at it, maybe 2 pounds a day. Could the body transmute that much material? Would you need to get more sleep? Because that's when all that's happening, right? When you're sleeping, so it can go all through the process of turning whatever substances in your body to fats and.
Hey.
Hello. So what you're saying, Carson, is that I should eat a pound of butter? See what happens. Hey, I think I told you to, Jim, and I think I told you, and Carson, I think I've told you this before. Go check out the dude, LA Beast. He's a gigantic human being too. I think he's probably like 6'2", but like large, muscular, but then fat. He goes, but he's like a competitive eater. And he does a lot of ridiculous things, like obscene, stupid things. And a couple times he was like eating like a 5-gallon thing of mayonnaise, or eating sticks of butter. And it's funny because some of the things that he would do, people would go, "That's so unhealthy," but in fact, it probably made him healthier. Like he did like chugging gallons of oil, and I'm like. He did himself a great service. He's like, I was on the toilet for like, days and whatever. I was like, but as long as it was good oil, he probably did his body a great service doing that. More sugar, insulin, fat storage. Okay. Yeah, LA Beast is crazy. A box of raw eggs. Yeah, I can't even thinking about even downing a raw egg. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of times. I've eaten some raw eggs. I like a runny yolk, but like the white stuff. Oh no, please no. Yeah, drinking liters of oil. I mean, because if you would have actually backed that up by drinking like lemon juice afterwards, like chug lemon juice after that, he would have totally cleaned out, without question, he would have cleaned out his gallbladder and his liver. That would have pumped so much shit through his gallbladder and liver. He would have been super healthy after that. I mean, the oil probably did enough. You drank a half liter of oiled grapefruit? He woke up almost puking and did an enema. Well, a half liter. Well, see, because you always go harder. You always go more than, and usually what it would take a normal human is maybe like a cup. A cup is way different than a liter. A cup of oil and a cup of grapefruit juice is quite a cry from a liter. you know? Yeah, but and if you checked out, if you ever look up videos of people that have done it, you'll see what comes out. There's like, it's clearly something that was clogged up in the gallbladder or liver. Like between that and the coffee enemas, yeah, for sure. Carson, you drank raw eggs, and the clear part felt a little bit like semen. Well, I mean, you're used to having a mouthful of semen, right? So, you just like spit it back and forth with your boyfriend? Yeah, I mean, I've obviously tasted my own because I figure if a chick's going to, I should know what they're getting into. You know what I mean? So if I'm expecting a chick to swallow my seed or put it into her being, you know, I might, and that way also because then I was like, oh, how healthy am I, right? You know, you drink some piss, you can kind of figure out how healthy you are. Eat some, yeah, taste your seed, see how healthy. Like legitimately, why wouldn't you? There are times when I'm super, everybody knows this. If you're super unhealthy, the smell of your piss is like rank. The smell of your semen is even worse, right? But when you're healthy, those two things are actually on the quality varietals. You said most men have tried it. You think? I don't think so, Jim. I think that's much more a progressive German thing. And I don't mean just German. I mean like more European and people that are a little more comfortable with their sexuality. I would say the majority of men that I know, at least Americanized. Well, I don't think so. I think later in life maybe or I don't know. I don't think it's. I don't even think it's anywhere near 50%. I mean, come on, you guys are onto the Shady, like poop, whatever you creepy people are into, you crazy Germans. Shady, duty everywhere. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about this because it's not a question that think about it. How you think more people have tried their piss or their semen? I would say semen over piss. I think that's a crazy concept too. That's a thing, but in the grand scheme of things, how many dudes are like so like, nah, dude, that's fucking gay. Nah, dude, that's fucking gay. Those kind of people. That's so fucking gay, dude. I would say maybe 20% of dudes. I think we have to do an online research study here. I gotta mix myself a drink up here. Where are you at? Okay, cool. And I'm gonna go. I forgot. Ooh. That's so funny. that was chunky. That was like almost as thick as some chunks of slimy, slippery, sludgy semen. Yep. Smoking way too much weed. And everybody I smoke with smokes spliffs, so it's even a little more. Anyways, where was I before that? Oh yeah, I forgot how warm it was out here. Like, and how hot the pavement gets. There's some parts of the day that people are not playing on certain sidewalks because it's just too hot. So I came over here, got myself a beverage and some shade. I think I wait till like 5 o'clock before there's music. Okay, you think the crazier huh? Okay, I think that's another question. Yeah, is it more nuts to try your piss or your semen? Huh? I think at first glance you'd be right, but I think the whole like that's some gay shit kind of thing. I think more people would say you're nuts if you tried your piss though, honestly, because piss to most people is dirty, right? It's filthy. You know, the guys that are like, that's fucking gay. I wouldn't try my own semen. I wonder if you put that in front of those two. You gotta either taste your semen or drink your piss. What do you think they do? It's a good question. I think that's my question of the day. I'm gonna start throwing that around today. What are you, gay, bro? Bruh. Hi, puppy. What's up, broski? You think semen might win? Huh? That's even amongst the, oh my god, that's gay. I think they're more grossed out by. I think they would get over there, that's gay, before they would drink piss, because they'd be like, that's disgusting. See, drinking your piss is disgusting and filthy. Eating semen would be gay, right? That would be the two. And while somebody'd rather be considered, I think, disgusting, I think their view of piss would be much more harsh than that of semen. Interesting. I'm gonna figure this out today. But then again, I think the majority of people I'll ask will be. I mean, it'll be a hard sell to get it. Well, I'd have to ask people that are not from here. Okay, if I ask people that are from New Orleans, I don't think it would be a big thing either way. I think people from New Orleans, I think most people have had semen in their mouth. It's just probably true. Yeah, I could be like, when's the last time you had nut in your face? Yeah, that's now. This is my talk. This is my goal for the day. I am going to see what kind of answers I can get out of people. Now that's funny because I would say obviously most chicks have had a mouthful of seed. Most dudes, not really, right? So I wonder how that would look. The piss. Okay, the semen in the mouth for chicks is like, that's pretty much you've had a mouthful of semen, but not a mouthful of piss. Where dudes, probably because they're crazier, dudes would be like, oh, I'll eat a hot bag of fucking Doritos or whatever the hell, that just do crazy shit. So I don't think piss would be like that far out the window. Where, huh? I love how our conversation went from I'm not going to talk about shit today to talking about piss and semen. Bodily functions, and also my little bit of phlegmy winks that I have going on in my throat. It's almost gone. Oh no, I just spit right on my fucking foot. What an idiot. Hey, what's up? You had a coup? Fucking spit on my shoe. What a retard. What a flaming hot bag of dicks I am. Damn it. Speaking of weed, I gotta go find some. Find somebody to get me high. Trying to paint depression. Well, isn't that what painting is, kind of? I mean, the word it's called painting. So you're painting pain. Yeah, I've always thought that, because at least whenever I'm writing or doing poetry, usually it's coming out of a place of exploring depression or pain, right? And I think most artists kind of come from that angle. There's not a lot of people that are expressionists that were doing it because of love and joy, like it was to let out something else. Yes, of course there are some, and there's some people that paint very happy and joyful and whatever. But I think most people that paint, when they're painting, it's a pain in the ass. It's like whenever I draw something, or I'm just like, I know that I'm sitting here and I'm committed to doing this for this many hours, and I know it's going to just take focus and et cetera, et cetera. And I yeah. Edvard Munch. I don't know who that is. I'll have to look at the stuff. Painting. Well, yeah, I think so, because when you paint something, it's almost as if you're cutting a hole into darkness, or you're putting something onto reality. It's like opening up a whatever's behind that light comes through it, and it comes through the painting. Yeah, I get that part, which is why, some people, painting is a cure for depression or pain or anxiety or whatever the shit is, right? You paint and it relieves you of something. Or paint therapy. People, there's that works for people. Writing, sound, music, food. Like food and shopping, like when they go shopping therapy and food therapy, as long as you don't use it as an addiction or as a little escapist type attitude, go shopping, go buy something. Yeah, the world as a totality, yeah, we consume too much, and obviously don't eat yourself to death, and obviously, but yeah, those are types of therapies too. Anything can be looked at in a way of bettering oneself. Even the things that look kind of weird, like why would you ever do that? I thought we were against capitalism, and I thought we were against consumerism and all this. And then somebody hear me go, this tell you, well, go fucking buy something for yourself. Go take care of yourself. Fucking enjoy it. Like, I thought you said to fast and to eat fruit juices, and then you're out here fucking drinking and smoking and acting a fool and buying shit. I don't fucking know. Yadaku, so you like that, like, what is it called? Pressure prompted. So if you put yourself in a position to do something, you'll do it. Kind of like if you were in school, if you did something last minute. That kind of pressure prompting. Speaking of voodoo, Erykah Badu was at Voodoo Fest. It was at Jazz Fest last night, I think. And there's a new video out today of her and Mark Rebellet talking and playing games and shit. I haven't watched the whole thing, but it's pretty interesting. And when I said speaking of voodoo, like obviously voodoo, Erica's very much into that. So, and she's a New Orleans. She's a New Orleans icon, I suppose. Yeah, check that one out. It's like an hour long, and they have a really fun chemistry together. Because like Erica's been who she is for as long as she has, and Mark is like out of nowhere is like fucking the cat's pajamas, and he's like, you can tell he's just like awestruck by the fact that he gets to hang out with Erykah Badu. Like, how crazy is that? And but it's cute listening to them talk. Yeah, I think we were talking about this a few shows ago. Michael TsarXen and the Irish Origins. I don't know if it's the Irish or the Celtic Origins is the name of the. This is old. This is one of the first things that really got me into the occult stuff. This is when I was checking out TsarXen was one of the first, and that was maybe like 20 years ago that he came out with that. The Irish or Celtic Origins. And funny enough, I was talking to somebody a couple days ago about this, and we were talking about the black Celtic people, and like, well, how is Shaquille O'Neal's? Why is his last name O'Neal? And he goes, I'm Irish, and I don't think he was joking. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of history into like the places that we perceive of being strictly Caucasian or white places. There was way more melanated folk there. Like in Italy, if you go to Sicily, it's like, what color are those? Are they black or are they white? Like, why? Yeah, fire Jake, that's interesting. I figured that. I think when you say that, I figured that would probably be it. Yeah, I think I did. I think the video I did on who they all were in order, I think was if anybody wants to check it out, my 33 greatest teachers. I don't know if it's still up, but I'll repost it if it's not. But yeah, TsarXen was up there, and Savan, and obviously Jordan Maxwell, and yeah, Maxwell was one of the first too. I don't know what brought me into like that kind of interesting. I have no clue what brought me into that kind of research at all. It's kind of like you slip down and you just find one thing and you're like, oh, and 20 years later. That it's EQs and formulas or your kind of stuff. Equations and formulas. That's a really interesting statement. Our unified desire to end communism, is that supposed to be ironic? Because unification is community. I'm for a version of that, and it's something that is give me a second here. Sorry. Okay, I was there's something happening there. I should have done something about that. Yeah, I'm for something like I've done videos on it before, and the name is it's not quite socialism. It's not quite communism. It's definitely not capitalism. It's not. It's like Ubuntu. It's like it's like tribal-esque. So China's going the other direction. See, I don't know. I can't. I can't. It's because I've never been there, and I don't know what that all entails. They're like, oh, it's communist. I'm like, yeah, but there seems to be people living in bigger and smaller houses. It seems to be like everybody's not getting the exact same paycheck, are they? I don't know how. I've never been. I don't know what the schematics on it look like. I only know what I'm told through the same litany of propagated bullshit that I get to see on my news feeds and the channels of information that come to me. Like, how could I fucking really know? I don't. And also there's that grand overview of like there aren't really countries. There aren't really like those. I don't think there's ever really been countries. I don't think there's ever really been. It's like what's more powerful, the states, or the locale that you live, or the country you live in, or the world that you live in. It's like, oh, here, if I'm sitting here, I can do this, but if I sit over there, I can't do that here, but I can do that over there. It seems to be more. I don't know. It's kind of to me. I've noticed it's kind of like this community thing where you couldn't get away with playing music till 5 a.m, loud as shit, in your neighborhood. Absolutely not. But if I go right over there, there are houses and there are bars that are open 24 hours a day, and there are people playing music till 5 a.m, and you go into a social contract when you live there going, you don't get to say shit. Like, this is where you live now, and if you want to live here, this is what happens. And we're drinking, we're doing drugs, people are playing music, and we're in the streets and all hours of the night. And you get to sleep all day. And this is the community of that. And that's within a larger community that says, not on this street, not on this block, these houses are $1 million. It's within the same area, the same, like, you could be 2 blocks away and they don't hear your music, but over here on those blocks with the bigger houses, and it's like that's how I kind of see the world, as like a bunch of social constructs and agreements. It's like how some people can get away with certain things and other people can't, because it's a social construct that you go, how is that bum running around doing this, or how is it, but over there you can't do it, or that person can't do what they're doing. Fire drink. Oh, David Wilcox. That dude is so willfully engaging in sucking cock. Yeah, I always have my doubts about what his thing was. And Project Camelot. That one, I wasn't liking that either. I really was always rubbed wrong by both of them. And then your boy that worked at NASA that came out was like, oh, hey, everything's. I don't know. There was always an agenda with them. I didn't like any of their. I got some of it was good, but then I'm like, well, you're steering us in a direction. And David Wilcock's like, oh, I'm the reincarnation of your aunt's fucking butthole, or whatever the hell he said. Yeah. Head charlatan. Oh yeah. Yep. See, that's always the thing, was when people tell me to start doing something and you know, get a website and do this and connect with these people, and I'm like, nah, no, I'm not gonna, because I'm not gonna fold for their bullshit. Like, I'm not gonna, like, if I sniff out some bullshit, I don't want to be attached to people's dumb fucking ignorant ideas or what they're trying to sell people. Can't do it. Not gonna do it. You know, I don't mind, like, I wouldn't mind starting a platform of my own, but even in that becomes corrupt to the degree that I allow any type of financial influence, right? Like, at what point does somebody who's like, I'll give you $1 billion to say that drinking piss is no good? Sorry guys, I'm taking that $1 billion. I'm out. I'm out the game. I'll just go ahead and blast that on repeat. This is no good. Don't drink it. But you all know. But everybody that knows will already know. I said it, and they'll know the truth. I'm just gonna take the $1 billion and dip. I wouldn't lose any credibility. But what I'm saying is, on a smaller scale, like to what degree, if some product was like, hey, I'll give you X amount of dollars to rep our product, but you can't say this. I can't do that. It's not gonna work. Yeah. It's funny because in a sense there is a funding. See, all of the funding towards the media got reappropriated into YouTube and all these other channels. Now that larger funding that was going like, hey, here's $100,000 to go directly to this TV program, and that's what we're doing. Now they have to have a couple more people working and say, okay, you got the same amount to spend, but you spend it on smaller channels. And then you start seeing these channels that pop up. They're like out of nowhere, and they got 100,000 subs, and they got all these people connected, listening, and they have usually high quality, cinematography and everything going on. Immediately I have to go. That's where the budget for the media went. It went to smaller platforms. So while it doesn't look centralized, it is. It's centralized. Before it was centralized into Channel 8, Channel 10, Channel 13. Now it looks decentralized because there's so many different people, but they're spouting the same message. So rather than paying Channel 8 $100,000, they're paying Jeff, Doug, Joe, John, Andy, and Terry over here. They're paying them $10,000 a piece to say the same thing, and they're getting probably a bigger audience. That's what's happening. So I mean, that's the restructuring is just, the dilemma is the algorithms and everything that are being used only support those things to begin with. the channels that are actually, that would be organically grassrooted into things, growing and becoming something, I know what channels they would be, and they're all channels that have way less than 50,000 subs. And it's obvious. It's obvious what they're saying, because what they're saying goes against the popular narrative and the things that will, gain people money and power. And it is all about decentralizing or deprogramming people from the chicanery and bullshit. That's the dilemma. So how do you get a decentralized, free-form platform that allows for free dissemination of any type of understanding of the world that people can, they'll come to the conclusion organically that that's the right thing, and it's not money motivated? How do you get that when everything is motivated and controlled by the monetary system? It's a good question, but yeah, I mean, see, yeah, yes and no. Well, yes, as long as everything stays open source, which we're seeing almost instantaneously happen, that it's not open source. All of the information, and then it's what becomes popularized, and so organically, if everyone had a video camera and was videoing what the perspectives and everything is going on, not everyone, but people walking around, even if somebody posted a video of something that legitimately happened, if someone that's at YouTube just goes click 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 click, shut the algorithms off, doesn't connect anything, and shadow bans them, which happens, what's the point? It doesn't matter if that knowledge isn't disseminated and some other agenda is, which is what happens. It's not open source. So what happens? Then it's still, it's. I was listening to Gary. What the hell is his name? He's a comedian. Gary something, really tall dude, Goldman, I think. And he said years ago there was this guy that he was campaigning on TV. He was talking about how 50,000 children will be abducted this year, and 50,000. He's campaigning across all these media platforms. Only to a year later, he comes out and he redacts what he says. He's like, well, I was maybe I've exaggerated a little bit. It was only because the number was only about 300. And so Gary Goldman goes, he was off by 50,000. Literally the number that he said, like the difference between 50,000 and 300. But the point is that it doesn't matter that he redacted it, because it was already stated. So people were already in much fear, chaos, and ado about nothing, because they're like, oh, if my kid's here, hey, you're about to get fucking abducted. And in reality, 300 is quite a different number than 50,000. But everyone was working with the information of what he said first. So we're continually. It's like when somebody says something, like just because someone says something first, why do we go, oh, well, they must be telling the truth? Well, you know how many pieces of shit and liars and that there are that to manipulate? That's what they do. It's the majority of the world. That's the people that get ahead, that lie. They get more money, they get more stuff, more conveniences. Yeah, that's the number one thing. Scare tactics. Fear, confusion leads to control. Fear and confusion to number one, number two. So how's everybody doing? Yeah, the media is. The media, yeah, okay, just to say it again, Yadaku, just to clarify for people. Yes, the media was decentralized, but it's like, let me explain it this way. If I ran Starbucks, it's all that exists. Starbucks everywhere. There's a little mom and pop, little pop up over here and over there, little coffee shop every now and then, but everybody goes to Starbucks. And somebody comes through and says, that's a monopoly. We can't have that. Starbucks, you can't be in control of this market anymore. And all of a sudden, all of the Starbucks, well, they magically changed names, and it looks like there's 1,000 different coffee shops, and they're sourcing their beans this way, and this one looks like that. And Bob over here owns this one, Alex owns this one, and Tiffany owns that, whatever. It looks like it's decentralized, except the property and the whole thing is still run by the corporation. It didn't go anywhere. The influence of those little coffee shops now that you see. Oh, hi, little birdies. What's up, y'all? Hi. You guys get so close over here, huh? Oh, look at this guy. Look at him, he's right there. Oh, he's right there. Oh, they're so close. Look at him. Anyways, so it's just changing just changing the name. It's just changing just because who's it's like, okay, if I own the NBA, it matters not who owns whatever Boston or LA or whatever. I own the NBA. That's it. You're part of that. That's all they've done. So instead of now, it looks like, oh, there's so many outlets of information, but they're just jibber jabbering the same bullshit as CNN or Fox or anybody else would have. There's it's such a small number of channels that are really like saying the real shit, and the ones that get big enough they get taken over to the point where they'll 80% tell you the truth and 20% lead you down a journey that there's some aliens that are made of fucking there's alien DNA and everything. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm just saying they'll just take you down this really long, what does that have to do with anything category? Like if John Levine in his newest video was considering the idea of, like, you know, population reduction and everything that's going on. and he was basically saying, I don't think that's what they're doing. He's like, because he was talking about how he has chickens, they're laying eggs, and they have no idea that their whole John won't kill them because their whole role in the whole grand scheme of things is to give him eggs and nutrition, and he takes care of them and they take care of him. So a symbiosis he gets into. And he's like, so to think that these controllers are getting rid of people and going to do something with the population, he doesn't believe it to be as true as people are trying to make it out to be. And I'm in that category to a degree, but if you can make robots do all the work, we can turn everything digital and robotic, then it doesn't make a lot of sense to have more sentient humans that have spirits and souls in them. That it's easier to have maybe a few less, right? And have everyone else officially robotic doing the robotic shit, NPCing. So for me, I see that as a perhaps. Maybe it's already been happening. Workplaces, well, I mean, they already did that. Everybody works from home now. There's hardly anything anywhere that they've centralized a business at. I mean, the only funny enough, we bring up coffee shops. That would be about the only, you know, there's these little one-offs are going to be the only places that exist, because people they're going to want to get out of their patterns. They're not going to want to be in their houses all the time. Some people do. Some people love being in their house and want everything delivered, and they can do everything online. Okay, but then there'll be people that are still want to be outside. They want to jump in the river. They want to, you know, smell the air. They still want, that will still exist. Everybody thinks that's going to go away completely. I disagree. But there'll still be the coffee shop type places that will have live music. It will have to exist. You know, not everyone's going to go full force for the okay, everything is standardized, measured, and here's your robot giving you a cup of coffee to get you going, to get your work done, so you can. It's not gonna. I mean, maybe it's because where I live, but I can't imagine. This city doesn't exist without the people that play music in the streets. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist without all of these restaurants. It doesn't exist. And like, having this place not exist is like, there's other cities that have it to a degree. I mean, other places are already Cleveland. Other places are already so much a strip mall. They're already NPCs. Like these little towns that you can go to all over the country, these cities, and they're mapped out and done exactly the same in the same way in every way. You could go. I've been to cities that and I'm like, I was like, oh, are we in this city? They're like, no, how much we're in this city. I was like, well, how come that Ruby Tuesdays is exactly the same location as it was there, and if I take it right here, it's you could do it with a blindfold, and the people have the same ilk and attitudes and everything. Yeah, it's already happened in those places, as far as I can tell. But there's plenty of spots where that can't happen. Yeah, you know what's funny that I'm pretty happy about is I just seen a thing on Smart Cities a couple days ago, and it was saying New Orleans. They were trying to, there was a company that was doing bids, and they backed out of it, and they said nah. They tried to do it in New Orleans, and they just they were like, fuck it, we can't do it in New Orleans. I was like, yeah, because it makes no sense to even try it here, because the people, you would ruin everything, ruin it. Like I was like, if you can go to smaller cities that don't have the weather, the food, the people, the culture of this, and you could run a smart city. And I don't see anything wrong with running smart cities, which is odd to say, it'd be odd to people to hear me say that, but I'm not against it. It just got to be in select places. If you want to go in out of a smart city, go for it. But I don't think it can exist everywhere. It'd be too. Go ahead, do that. Go do that in fucking Lancaster or wherever the hell. I don't know, like these stupid little suburban town areas. They already are smart cities. That's what. You could just plug that shit right in, and people are gonna buy right into it. But there's other places it will not work. It can't work, and it shouldn't work. They tried smart cities in hell. Yeah, I mean, it's people will get sucked into those smart cities. I can see why. You know, there's a certain comfort and everything's orderly. But who was talking earlier? Oh, it was Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson. He said in traditional Chinese medicine, in Western medicine, or excuse me, in Eastern medicine, TCM, when someone was sick, what they would do is they would have a doctor, shaman, whatever you like to, your martial artist, your healer, go into the person's house and observe the house. And by seeing the house, they would occasionally see that everything in the house was so strict and orderly. It was the kind of place that you go into, and if there was a cup on the table, the mother figure would come over, pick up the cup, and make sure there was something beneath it, and the kids aren't playing in this room, and you can't do this, and everything was so strict and orderly that there was no fun, no learning, and it was causing sickness. There was a sickness to that. Obviously, on the other, everything's out of order and discombobulated, there's going to be sickness there too. So there's a healthy balance. But the idea of these smart cities is to have so much order that people would end up literally dying. Between all of the radiation and everything else going on, people would either die or turn into robots. But they'll become very unhealthy. It won't last. It can't. But in certain spaces, it's already manifest. It's already been installed. Make myself a beverage over here. Yeah, interesting. There's right now there's quite an influx in New Orleans of well, obviously for Jazz Fest and everything, but quite an influx of people from. I've noticed a lot of people from China, Japan, French people, and it's always interesting. You get a lot of different tourist types and travelers too. You know, I mean, not necessarily just tourists, but travelers, people that are like they've visited places. They're cultured, but it's very interesting. I think that's another issue, and another thing altogether is, I mean, for people that live in suburban areas, small towns, just normal cities that are not destinations, you can't quite understand. Like if you've lived in those, if you've went on a vacation you've vacated where you lived to somewhere that was cool, and you've seen it as a, like if you went to Florida, right? You'd see it as, oh, I went somewhere, I got a tan for a week, and at the beach, and there's this one restaurant that we went to that had the greatest crab cakes, and whatever the hell it is, and you'll see it from that vantage point. But if you live in a place that is a destination, it's a totally different thing. And you see it for, you see how it culturizes the people that live here, and the kind of people that come in and are visiting. Like, wow, what is this? They look at you like, this is how you this is how you guys live. Like, yeah. I mean, and it's kind of the same thing as, if you've ever met people that worked in the service industry. You ever like work in the service industry? People that have never worked in the service industry, those are the worst people. Honestly. You want to know where? You know where that whole Karen attitude, that shit comes from? It comes from people that never worked a day in their life in the service industry. If you've ever worked as a bartender, as a server, in the kitchen, the back of the house, the front of the house, whatever. If you've worked that, you have a whole different perspective on reality. If you never have, if you've never folded clothes, if you've never worked in a mall, if you've never done any of that shit, you become the people on the other side of it, which is like the people that are, maybe they work in an office, maybe they work, they might have some jobs, but if you haven't worked a day in your life in the service industry, you're a clueless Karen. You're a self-righteous, self-aggrandizing whore. Like you're a bitch. Like there's no way really around that. If you haven't been in service to other people, you have no idea. And it's hey, nice. Hey, look at this coming through here. Thank you for showing up as per usual, right on time. Thank you for just saying dumb things. Awesome. Cool.
That's a river, buddy. Water.
Well, you know what? Now that the the auto spam bots are showing up, I'm gonna call it a show. Besides, it's been like an hour. I'm gonna go find some music. And as per usual, everybody here, you're allowed to. If you feel like it, you want to donate and help a brother out, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo is in the description box. If you need any personalized assistance in life and reality that I know quite a bit about, whether it's health related, you're mentally challenged, you can hit me up on my email, which is TheoLuminous, TheoLuminous @gmail. It's in the description box also. And as per usual, you know what it is. What's up, beat bag? And the advice is always take care of yourself, and after you're done doing that, take care of others when you can, and be goofy, be weird. And beat bag. You're giving me advice. What is this advice you'd like to bless me with here? Do it. I'll stick around for your advice. This is the advice channel, the advice show. Here's another piece of advice. Don't thank you for this advice. I've never offered that advice to anyone before, except for except for probably always. Yes, correct. Everybody, everybody knows that here. If you've been here before, you know. Best time to do it. If you've never done it before, in the AM, in the early hours. If you can't, then obviously late hours. And if it's in the middle of the day and it's going to be too bright for you, use trees. Look through the trees so you're not getting a full explicit version of the sun, which will cause a little bit of dilemma. But yeah, that's a way to do it. And urine eye drops. And when you get a little more advanced, you can start cleaning out your eyes with other substances. And yeah. Grim's been on that. Terping the eyes. Yes. The trees is very, very helpful. If you only have time in the middle of the day, use the trees. It will just diffract the light a little bit, so you can still get that high noon sun, but be able to take in enough of that sunlight, and you won't get that after you sun gaze for a little bit, everything inverts in the color spectrum out in front of you, so like people can kind of turn almost invisible. Yeah, we'll do a beat back. Good to see you. I'll do a whole nother show on that. I think you know, but maybe you don't. Of my 4,000 videos, about 3,800 of them are on lockdown, and that's probably one of them I left on there. But I'll redo it, and we'll get into sun gazing and the urine thing and everything else soon. Yeah. Well, it's good to see you. I'll be on here now that Jazz Fest is almost over. I'll be on here next week quite a bit, and perhaps later tonight. So fucking yeah, boy. Good to see everybody. Be weird. Enjoy your day. We'll talk soon. Bye, bitches.